Hello wrestling fans, I just finished watching today's SmackDown from WWE, the first SmackDown after their pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. This was also the first SmackDown with The Undertaker as the world's champion. A move I'm not so sure what to think of, because I like the fact that The Undertaker is the world's champion. He does for a good world champion, and that means we'll probably have some intriguing feuds over the next couple of months in case The Undertaker keeps the title, because as it seems right now they do not have any plans to put the title right back on CM Punk. The match was announced for bragging rights, where the World Championship was about to be defended in 2.5 weeks, and that is The Undertaker defending the title in a fatal 4-way. I don't know if it's a just fatal 4-way or if it's a fatal 4-way elimination match. They said it was a fatal 4-way, but The Undertaker said in his promo, which by the way was really good, a really good promo by The Undertaker that he held in the ring, and he laid a landscape clear on what his intention was for bragging rights. And then he said that each and every one of them, and he mentioned Batista, Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, going through name after name, saying that they will all fall for him one by one. That of course indicates that it could be an elimination match coming up at bragging rights on October 25. I guess we'll just have to see. It could be that the WWE haven't made up their mind yet, but I like this match. It's good. I don't really think there is any energy left for CM Punk versus The Undertaker. The Undertaker has been too dominant over CM Punk in their feud, and CM Punk doesn't really come through as a legit threat. Even though he took the last ride at Hell in a Cell and kicked out, he is no legit threat to The Undertaker. And what I've heard from rumors is that The Undertaker's next opponent for the championship is going to be against Batista, and that does not make any frowns, I guess, because the Survivor Series pay-per-view, which is the pay-per-view 1 month after bragging rights, is in Washington DC in the MCI Center, which is pretty much Batista's hometown. So him having a title shot there, being in the main event, does make sense. But however, I don't know how eager I am to see Batista versus The Undertaker feud. They had a long feud in 2007, perhaps the feud of the year, a lot of good matches, but that was pretty much it. I don't think that there is that much interest to it, and I don't really think that there is a need to please the live crowd in MCI Center in Washington DC by having Batista work the main event. It could be a favor to Batista, of course, and a way to make him come back and work his contract, and a way to keep him motivated. We heard rumors in the past about Batista crying and whining and bitching, so it could be a way to make him happy. But seeing that Batista isn't the best wrestler in the world, not the most entertaining, even though he has had quite a lot of momentum since returning, and with The Undertaker being in pretty roughed up health. He had a 10-minute match at Hell in a Cell, and he was staggering out after that match. He has very much problems with his knees, and therefore I see it as a liability to have him as a champion. Therefore I am not 100% behind it, and because Undertaker cannot work a full schedule. He has done that before, and every time in the last few years that he has done that, he has turned up injured. Other things tonight was Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho, and I see why Chris Jericho is always published as the diminished one in this duo of him and Big Show in Jerry Show. That's to help Big Show look even bigger and more dominant. But I don't really think, I don't like the way that they book Jericho right now. He's looking too weak all the time. Now he lost against Rey Mysterio. I don't like that either, because I don't like Rey Mysterio, and that kind of made Raw have a poor start for me, because it pissed me off. But I have to put emotions aside, because I have to realize that that's not what I don't like it, but I guess other people do. And still, I don't like that Jericho's pushed and and promoted as kind of weak as in the tandem with Big Show. And I also don't like, since what I said last Monday, where he also was pinned by the Generation X, where they were completely out-wrestled. But also that's unfortunately the way that they push Rey Mysterio. People want to talk about Super Cena, Super Cena, Super Cena. I think it's very weird that Rey Mysterio has gotten away from being labeled as a Superman, because to me he's Superman 619. He never loses, more or less. He wins all the matches he participates in, and it's pretty safe to say that every wrestler he feuds with ends up being completely demolished by Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio, he completely mauled out Kane last year in the feud, completely mauled and dominated Kane. Won like 4 consecutive matches, made Kane look very, very weak, and Kane's credibility is about to recover from that now. But wow, Kane's career really took a toll from that feud, and then he defeated Chris Jericho in their feud, and I'm getting tired of this. It's always Rey Mysterio, the greatest underdog in the world, and he always comes out on top. Always, always, always. That sickens me. But in some way he has gotten away while Cena is being bashed, while Cena is actually losing quite a lot of matches compared to how many he should lose, and compared to Rey Mysterio, who never loses. We also have, I'm really tired of seeing Rey Mysterio always being in the Rumble match for like 45 minutes, and he almost won the Elimination Chamber match he was in, defeating at least 4 guys, almost defeating 5 guys. He's always overcoming the odds, and it's pretty, that's, if anything, is pretty unnatural, and I'm getting sick and tired of it. So hopefully he does not have that much left in his career. Speaking of the matches at Bragging Rights, I like the matches, and I think it's good. We of course have rematch after rematch after rematch between Cena and Orton, but I like the fact that they do have these rematches and natural title matches and all them. It actually has been more or less since somewhere in the mid-summer since we had the last #1 contenders match. That's good. You're supposed to have that sometimes, but most of the times I think it bargains for a more interesting product and a more interesting and unpredictable product if you have a natural #1 contender, such as the Undertaker, and then the Undertaker again, and then you now have Batista, Rey Mysterio, and CM Punk. And if, as I say, from there it looks like we will have Undertaker feud with Batista coming out of that match, and maybe possibly Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk, which of course does not look good for CM Punk because he will lose that feud immensely. And that's pretty much it. Also CM Punk came off looking good. Batista fucked it up kind of much in the end because he lost the match by countout. He goes in because for some reason WWE management says Batista is gonna have the last word anyways. Maybe to punish CM Punk and diminish him despite the win. So in some weird way Batista goes in, power bombs CM Punk, then celebrates as if he won the Olympics. And then, yeah, right, I lost. And he kind of goes into the corner and looks very sad all of a sudden. So it was an emotional roller coaster for Batista there. Also Ziggler Morrison. Ziggler dumped Marie after losing a 4th straight Intercontinental Championship match, and I guess he will not have any other title shot in the near future. Possibly at Bragging Rights, but I don't believe that's the case. So we will have to look for a new opponent for John Morrison there. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.